What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel. And of course, it is Saturday, time for another edition of What's on the Pegs. I believe this is, episode 11 now? Is that where we're at? It moves so fast, sometimes it's easy to forget what number we're on because we've been doing this for so long now. But I'm enjoying doing it. Hopefully you guys are as well. I think doing these toy hunts is kind of a key to any toy YouTube channel, as it were. So some people may like it, some may prefer the unboxing videos. It's really anyone's choice at this point, but of course this is, like I said, this is episode 11. I definitely didn't look that up just to make sure I'm saying the right stuff, right? Oh no, I'm well prepared before I started this video. Definitely not making it at the last minute, and definitely not flying by the seat of my pants, of course. But of course, I'm always checking out a lot of different stores. But drop it in the comments down below. Where are you checking? I'm sure most of us are checking our Walmarts and Targets, as it were. But maybe there's some vintage toy shops that you're close to where you can see some cool pictures. Of course, Daniel Cross sent me a ton of cool pictures, so one of those will be dropping at the end of this episode as well. But if you see something cool, something fun, something different, something unique, throw it my way. Who knows? It might end up in a future episode. But of course, every Saturday I'm dropping these, as well as unboxing videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And about once a month, we're dropping a new episode of Tales of the Toy Box. Just dropped one last week, all about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But this week, a lot of vintage toy shops is what I hit, and I started off with these, and I was like, oh man, I got to get a picture of these, because I don't recall these on the retail shelves when they hit, but I've since seen them, and I'm like, oh, we got to cover these on the Toycast at some point. Creepy Crawler action figures. Do you remember these? We got, Squirminator? Like, very gross out style. I saw 3 different ones, of course, but we got Squirminator, and he's just insane looking. But if you look closely, he comes with a mold, right? So now if you had the Creepy Crawler sets where you actually made the little bugs and stuff, he comes with a mold. That's kind of a cool 2-in-1, as it were. But it wasn't the only one I saw. We also saw Volt Jolt, cool action figure, got some fun. He kind of almost looks like a Stone Protector to me. Maybe not, I don't know. What do you guys think? He's got some weapons. $85 for this guy. He's a bit of a rare boy, it looks like. Of course, he's got a mold as well, which is also really, really fun. And looks like he's also got some goop. So, like, the goop, I believe, is what was used on the mold. Of course, this sold at Kmart back in the day for $8.99, which is actually kind of expensive for the time. But, you know, with an action figure and a mold, that's not terrible. Then we also got CC, Chris Carter. 85 on this one too, so these are not cheap ones, of course, but of course we got molds, we got an action figure, we got the goop. I guess you're getting a lot for your money, but interesting. I mean, do you guys remember Creepy Crawler figures? These are like a blind spot to me totally, so I don't remember them at all. But they're kind of cool to see, and that's what's kind of fun about hitting a vintage toy shop. You may not be going in there to buy stuff, but you might see some stuff that kind of trips your nostalgia, as it were, which I think is always kind of cool. I also saw this. I don't remember this at all. This is also not a cheap one, as you can tell. Old Boomhauer from King of the Hill. How funny is that? $150 takes this bad boy home. It's in a protector case, which is, I guess, the least you can ask for a $150 action figure. As you can see, back in the day, $12.99 brought this bad boy home. So if you bought it for $12.99 and could sell it for $150, I'd say that's a pretty good turn there. But King of the Hill is actually coming back to Hulu, as we know. Kind of a... It's not like a reimagining because they're older now. Bobby's an adult at this point. But this is kind of cool. You know, I don't remember King of the Hill action figures. I do know they have a line of Funko Pops coming up. So I thought that's kind of interesting. So seeing Boomhauer there, I was like, oh, well, what do you know? Old Boomhauer. And then then this is a fun one, of course. Old Buff the Stuff Bagwell from WCW Toy Biz. What a profile picture that is. The glasses down, the choker. I mean, I don't know. He comes with a wheelchair, which is kind of a fun accessory. It's an interesting one, though, because Buff actually had a broken neck at one point and came out on a wheelchair. I don't know if that was before or after this, but Buff was one of those guys that was always kind of around WCW, but never really caught a break till about, 97, 98, and then he joined the NWO, became Buff Bagwell instead of just Marcus Bagwell. But then after WCW ended, boy, he's a guy who never found his footing again. He briefly showed up in the WWF for one match and was like never seen again. He had a couple of appearances for TNA Wrestling, but and then, you know, of course, Gigolos on Showtime, but that was really it. So interesting. These Toy Biz figures aren't the best. They're not the worst, but they're not the best. But there you go. WCW Toy Biz Buff Bagwell. I don't know if you expected to see it, but there it was. I've always liked the DC Comics Toy Biz figures as well, because a lot of us don't associate Toy Biz and DC at all, because these were always so very much Marvel. But the DC Gold cards, of course, these kind of come on the heels of Superpowers, and I think a lot of people associated them with Superpowers. But this is the Lex Luthor here, $18, not horrible to take this home. Still carded for a figure that came out in 1989, 1990 probably. Lex Luthor in his power, like, purple suit, which is really cool. But they also did a line of Batman figures, so you could kind of mix and match a little bit. Always thought these were cool, though. These are fun. These are kind of a project of the times, of course. But then shortly after this, I believe Toy Biz got control of Marvel. I think they had it, and I don't know if they had it at the same time they had DC. Again, I don't know how any of that worked, but I do know, probably about a year from this point, they got the X-Men figures, and those became a huge deal, because who didn't love the X-Men figures? They were absolutely some of the best. So definitely fun stuff. But this is why I like going to the vintage toy stores, because you always find something different, and I think that's the fun aspect of it. That's and as you can see, this is all one store. I found all this in one store. I had to take a picture of this because $20 takes this home. That's actually not a terrible deal at all. Manager Series 1, Bone Crunching Action, WWF Jakks. We get Wildman, Marc Mero, and Sable. Yes, that Wildman, Marc Mero. Look at those eyes. You talk about a Wildman. Look at that promo picture. Absolutely awesome. That promo picture doesn't even look like Sable at all, although the dress looks similar. And then, of course, we've got Jacqueline kind of down there in the corner a little bit. But, yeah, man, I was a huge Marc Mero fan at this point. If I remember, his figure, actually, there was a prototype in white, and it had a totally different pose. And then this came out, and it did not look nearly as good. But, Marc Mero was a huge deal, of course, coming off of his run in WCW as Johnny B. Bad. I'm actually surprised more companies haven't done Marc Mero. I know Grapplers and Gimmicks gave us a Wildman Marc Mero figure, which is an awesome one. And the Major Bendies has given us a Marvelous Marc Mero, but I believe that's it. I think Top Rope Collectibles has got a Johnny B. Bad coming, so hopefully we get more of those. But yeah, Wildman Marc Mero and Sable, fun, and the Manager's 2-pack, definitely a fun one to get, that is for sure. And then, of course, over to Walmart, it was Chase City. At this Walmart, I found a Super Friends Chase, a Platinum Chase Riddler, in a Universe of Evil Chase Batman with the red costume. Of course, that was a kind of a layup for them to do because of the Universe of Evil storyline. In fact, I think Figures Toy Company did a Mego line of Super Friends, and they did all the Universe of Evil characters because it's the same figure, just a repaint or different clothing, as it were. And I believe in Super Friends Wave 2, we're going to have a Universe of Evil Superman. So I hope they continue that with each wave. I'd like to see Universe of Evil Wonder Woman and all the rest of them. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Of course, Riddler was the chase in Wave 1, which I love that Riddler. I think it's just awesome. The one question mark on there, it looks super cool. So I'm a big fan of the Super Friends line. Definitely going to get all of these. I love the cards. I love the kind of like the discoloration look of them, where it looks like an old card. I think McFarlane knocked these out of the park. I just hope we get all of these out before he loses the license, or he's able to continue doing maybe retro style figures. We'll see what happens, I guess, but only time will tell. But yeah, I think these are really, really cool. I also snapped a picture of these. What do you guys think? The new Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from Nickelodeon. Of course, this is the new cartoon and movie. I think it's also a new show. I don't follow it super closely, but you get head dropping Leonardo there. You got Genghis Frog. He's a little bit interesting looking. And Bishop in Mech. And then, of course, Mustang Sally. So apparently, these all have swappable parts, so you can kind of create your own monster. And if you look there, it looks like Genghis Frog's got a Leonardo arm, and then Bishop and Mech has got looks like a Raphael arm, and maybe another leg in there. So they've got a couple of different parts. I don't know if I like that. I'd rather the swappable aspect I'm okay with, but I don't like having extra parts. Like, what are we doing? Just put out cool figures. That's all I'm asking for. This might be more for the kids. Obviously, it's a $10 price point, so a little bit cheaper if you do want to collect these. But It can be a little bit frustrating too. So, again, to each their own, as it were. Also, some Transformers. Got a lot of cool Transformers. We got, of course, Optimus Prime. These are from the Studio series, and we got Wheeljack, Bone Crusher up there in the corner, Autobot Jazz, and of course Bumblebee. All really cool looking, all deluxe style Transformers. I kind of go hot and cold with Transformers. I picked up a few and was really into them, and then I haven't bought any in a while, so I still have several to unbox. I thought they would be fun to unbox for the channel. Kind of got into them and realized, like, wow, trying to put these together even in a time-lapse video is a little bit more challenging than I was expecting. So they're cool, but I don't know if I would say that they're technically a favorite. And we're going to round out this week, well, from my stuff, with this Godzilla vs. Kong, the New Empire Ultimate Titan Battle Pack. How cool is this? This is a 5-pack. I believe, is it $44.99? Is that the right price? I think so. You get a Godzilla Evolved. You get Kong with a Beast Glove, which is kind of cool. You get the Scar King, which I believe is the other monkey there. Shimo and Mothra. I believe Mothra, of course, got the wings, and I guess Shimo is probably that Stegosaurus-looking guy that's purple. This is pretty cool, almost like a starter kit, right? I don't buy the Godzilla vs. Kong figures. I feel like they're a little bit more for the kids, but these are kind of cool. Like, I could see, like, if I was a kid, I would be like, oh, I got to get this. You know, what a cool set. I can have all these different monsters fighting each other. My problem is like, how is there not 12 monsters? You know, like, I know they've done a bunch of these, but like, do more monsters. Do the robot Godzilla. Do all kinds of different ones. I think that's fun. I think at one point I heard there was going to be like a MonsterVerse set of movies, and we really haven't seen that. We've seen a couple of Godzilla versus Kongs, and I know this is like the sequel, but it's like, come on, give us more. Give us more movies. That's what makes it fun. So, I don't know what you guys think, but it's cool. Probably not something I would pick up, of course. And then, of course, you know, Daniel Cross is always sending me pictures of cool stuff he's finding. How about this? I'm going to throw this up there. The Wrestling Champion figure. It is a Mannix Hulk Hogan looking figure. They're calling it a Hasbro knockoff. As you can see, they got it for $25. Not horrible, all things considered. Kind of like that Hulk Hogan from the mail-away set. Of course, you got clearly a Stone Cold picture in the background of the card doing a stunner, but it's definitely not Stone Cold, but that's who it's modeled after. I love that he's in a t-shirt and jean shorts in like a wrestling ring. That's only going to be Stone Cold. Of course, he saw this at Toy Vomit. If you look underneath the price tag, though, Dollar General was selling this for $1 back in the day. Would you have picked this up for $1? I think most of us probably would have. It's a knockoff Hasbro, right? I remember seeing these in a 5-pack one time. It was 5 figures, and it was $5, I believe. And I was like, oh, I got to get them. And then they had another 5-pack for $5. And they were all the same except one figure was different. And so I had to buy both just so I could get all 6. You know, just like so stupid. But that was the fun thing about Dollar General back in the day. You never know what you were going to see. You would see stuff like this. You were like, oh, that's awesome. So pretty cool. I always like knockoff bootleg figures. Those are always fun. So. But that's kind of what I've been finding. What have you guys been finding? Of course, shoot me your pictures over at TB Toycast on Instagram. It's probably the best way to send them over. And then, of course, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out all the unboxing videos. 3 videos every single week. Tales of the Toy Box dropping once a month. And, of course, other episodes of What's on the Pegs. I got 10 in the archives now, so check out everything I've been finding over the last several weeks. But thank you guys very much for checking it out. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to check out the podcast every Thursday, wherever you get your podcast. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you guys very much, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.